Today, I'm going to show you some features that I think people miss in the Cricut Design Space. We're going to go over a whole bunch of them, and I hope that you'll let me know if you've learned something new in this video down in the comments. I'm Corinne Blackstone, and welcome to my craft room. I love showing you guys all the different ways that you can use your Cricut and ways to make crafting easier and less frustrating. I know that Cricut Design Space sometimes can really throw a wrench into your plans, so I hope that this video will help with that. Before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. Without further ado, let's get started.
You may or may not be familiar with these features in Cricut Design Space, but they are going to help make your crafting so much easier. So let's get started. The first one is under our Uploads option. So we're going to go to Upload and choose Upload Image. I'm going to browse for the image. I'm going to use this dog paw heart to show you. I'm going to click Continue. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the background manually and just choose this little wand. You want to click all the parts that are white that you want to remove here with your Cricut. Now you can zoom in on your image to help you get rid of any parts that may not be what you want in here. And then I'm going to go ahead and click Apply and Continue. I'm going to choose Single Layer and click Continue. From here, I'm going to just click Upload. Now I want you to look closely at this and we're going to zoom in. Look at how awful this looks. First off, I did miss a spot, but that's beside the point. Look at all these little like brambles. I don't know what even to call them, these little sticks coming out of it. So let me show you a way that we can help this. Go back into our upload option and we're going to upload this image again. Now this time I'm going to choose Remove Manually. I'm going to click this little wand and down here under Color Tolerance, I'm going to change this to 100. Then I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to click to get rid of all the pieces and parts of the image that I don't want. Now, just for continuity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and leave that piece that I missed in there just so they look the same, but normally you'd remove it. Click Apply and Continue, save as a single layer, and click Continue. Then go ahead and upload it to Cricut Design Space here, and I'm going to make this one bigger as well so that you can see. Now, can you see a big difference here? Because I sure can. This was the one that we downloaded without color tolerance, and this was the one with color tolerance. You can see that this one's going to cut really nicely where this one isn't. So use color tolerance when you're doing uploads. The next one I want to show you that I think a lot of people miss is if you have the grid and you hate it like I do, there are two ways to get rid of it. The quickest way is to actually use this little square right here between the 0 and the 0. You'll notice that when I click it, I can change it to the big grid or no grid, or I can bring back the little grid. That's super quick to do, especially if you just don't want it there for just a second or you need it to just look at something. That's a super helpful way to do it. But you can also access it up in your settings menu. So go to your name, click settings, and then under the canvas, you'll see here that you have grids. Full grid, which will give you the little ones, partial grid, which is the big grid, or no grid. Here you can also change your units and measurements, and you can change like snap to align, operation type, all that stuff. Another little feature that people miss in Design Space is changing the background color. It's really easy to do. All you have to do is click this little background color box right here at the bottom of your layers panel, and then you can change it. This is a great way to help you see things if you're working with a white design, or if you want to see what it's going to look like against the color of your blank. So this is a really great, helpful feature. I sized our two designs down so that we can show you this next hidden feature here in Cricut Design Space. Currently, they look like they're the exact same color, so I'm going to click Make. And a really easy way to tell if something's the same color is it should put it on the same mat. But you can see here that they're on totally different mats, but they look like they're the same color. A really easy way to make sure your items are the same color if you're going to cut them on, let's say, black vinyl. Go under the Material Colors option here at the top of your Layers panel. And you'll see that you have them listed as Material Color 1 and Material Color 2. All you need to do is drag the other item under the other material color here and let go of it. And now they'll be the same color. So when I click Make, they'll be on the same mat. That's a feature that is so helpful, especially when you're working with things that have lots of blacks and reds. Those tend to just look like the exact same color. This is going to save you so much time. Another really helpful hidden tool here in Cricut Design Space is how to hide a layer. So let's say I don't want to cut this one. All I need to do is go over to my layers panel and use this little eyeball. When I click on it, it will hide that item. And now when I click make, I'll only have one of our little paw print hearts on the screen. But that way I still have the other item, the other layer, if I ever want to use it for something else. It's just a really great way to make cutting things so much easier and faster, and that way you don't have to actually delete them, you can just hide them. Now let's say I need to cut 5 of these. There's a couple ways I can do it. I could duplicate it by just hitting the duplicate button over and over until I have 5, or I can hit make and use project copies. This is something I think a lot of people miss. Up here at the top, we have our project copies option. I can use the arrow, or I can just type in 5 and hit apply. Then it's going to put them all on my mats. Another hidden feature is if I'm cutting these, let's say on cardstock, and I only have an 8.5 by 11 sheet to do it with, under material size, I can just change this to 8.5 by 11, and it will place these on to the right size material. That way I don't have to worry about accidentally cutting something off or it not fitting. It's a really easy way to do that. Another feature that people tend to miss is the hide object or move object. So if you are on your make screen and you click on one of your designs, go to these 3 dots and you can actually move the object or hide selected. So if I want to move the object, I can just click move object and then I choose what mat I want to send it to. So let's send it to this first mat. Click confirm. Now it's going to look like it didn't move because it's on top of the other heart. But a lot of times if you move things around and shift things, you can fit more than what Design Space thinks you can onto a page. Now these aren't going to fit, but this just gives you an idea that you could technically squeeze some stuff in if you needed to. Now let's say I don't really actually need 5 of them. I can just go ahead and hide the selected object. Then I can just move this back where it was. Easy as that. It's a really simple way to work with your Cricut to save yourself some materials. With this design, let's say that we want to fill in the heart. One really great feature that people miss is the contour feature. It's a great way to edit your designs. If you go down to contour, you can click wherever you want to be filled in or taken away. If I want to make it a negative image, I can just hide the outline. But if I want to just fill in the heart, I can just click the middle heart and click apply. What's great about this is it's a great way to pull apart images or change up the designs so they match what you want them to be. Now let's say for some reason I want the name and the star to be cut out of our heart. I would normally use slice, but what you're going to see here is that I can't actually use slice because I have 3 layers. Slice only works if you have 2 layers. So a really hidden feature that people miss, and they'll go back and just slice each item individually. Instead, go down to combine and use the exclude option. It does exactly what slice does, except now I have the option to slice more than 2 layers. Plus, if I ever want to bring any of those layers back, they're still here and I can still use them. It's a really great feature. It makes things a lot easier, especially when you're using slice. What if I want to write on this? Let me show you where to find those hidden features. We're going to open up some text and let's just take the word love. And I am going to go and place this onto my design wherever I want it. If I want to find some writing text, I can go under the Cricut fonts and then you can use this really fun little filter option right here. Click on that and then you're going to go right here under characteristic and choose writing. You can also make sure to choose free fonts if you don't have Cricut Design Space access because not all designs and fonts are included. But when I look here, I can find a few that will supposedly write. You'll see here that we've got the A next to some of them. That means you have to have Design Space access. Now, I will say that some of these don't look great on the preview, but when you click on them, it's going to change how they look. So you can see that this one now is a single line. You can really scroll through, choose whatever you want, and use your writing feature to work. Now, I am going to say some of them, for whatever reason, aren't always perfect, and they don't necessarily show as writing. But there we go. Now we've got a perfect font. And then all we have to do if we wanted to write on our heart that we're going to cut out is just select both items and click attach. Now, it might look like your writing has disappeared, but I promise it didn't. Sometimes when you attach things, it goes just a little bit crazy, so you can just change the color back so that you can see that your writing is still on your image. Did you also know that Cricut has a bunch of keyboard shortcuts? If I right click on this, you can see that you have cut Control X, copy Control C, paste Control V, duplicate Control D, delete is just delete on your keyboard, select all is Control A, and then you can see all of these have different little keyboard shortcuts attached to them. I have a keyboard shortcuts image that you can download. It's just a PDF on my website for completely free. I'll link it down below. Now, this one's a really fun one and people miss it. And I think it's one of those things that people just don't know how to use it. So what you're going to do is you're going to use patterns. So I'm going to go to upload and I'm going to choose upload pattern instead of upload image. When I choose upload pattern, I'm going to browse for the design that I want. And I can choose any of these patterns. These are all seamless patterns, which is a great option to use for Cricut. I'm going to just choose these pink hearts and upload them. Now under here, it's going to ask us for a pattern name. You can just change it to whatever you want. I'm just going to call it pink heart pattern. And then you can choose what colors are within your pattern. This can help when you're filtering patterns down if you're looking for something specific. Then all you need to do is click upload. Now, it's not going to look like anything changed here on Cricut Design Space, but it should tell you that your pattern upload was successful. Once that has been done, you can find your pattern very easily. I'm going to go ahead and detach these and just get rid of the writing because we don't really need it. And I'm going to show you how we can access those patterns. You want to change this from basic cut to a print then cut. Patterns are only for print then cut projects. Then where you have your color selected, under print type, you can change it from color to pattern. And your new pattern will be right here ready to be chosen. When you click on your pattern, it's going to put it on to your design. You can also go in and edit your pattern. So if you want to make it have more hearts, you can make it smaller in scale. Or if you want less hearts, you can make it bigger in scale. You can change which way your hearts are facing by changing the horizontal, like you can kind of move it from side to side. If you want to change where they're sitting on your design, you can rotate it, you can flip it. All sorts of things. Now, obviously with the hearts, it's not going to do a whole lot with flip, but you can have that pattern set up any way that you want to. And now you're going to be able to print this out and it has a fun little pattern involved. One other thing that I really love that's a super hidden feature that I think so many people miss out on is how to change their color to something that maybe is closer to what they're looking for. So you have obviously these pre-selected colors from Design Space, but let's say we need a different style blue. Maybe that blue just isn't it. What you can do is go down here to Advanced and you can change the tone of the color that you need. So maybe I'm working with kind of more of a like peacocky bluish color. You can also move it this way and you can get to more of like a teal. You can also input the exact hex code if you have it, and that can help you really visualize your design. This is great too if you're going to be doing things with print and cut. If you need like exact colors for things, you can use hex code or this advanced option so that you can really get everything settled down to exactly what you need it to be. Now, did you know that there's 2 versions of Design Space? This is super helpful, especially if one of the versions isn't working well. In order to access the versions, you're going to go under your name and then under settings. Now you'll see here that under the general, you've got all sorts of information, but the one that's most important right here is application experience. Now, I personally prefer to use beta, and beta is where they usually will put out their newest features to test them. They will put out all the new like layouts to test them. So that's usually why I use beta, because it's mostly the most recent updates that they're going to be sending us. But if you're having issues, you can always switch to live or vice versa. Now, when you're doing this, the application may restart and might install an update if you haven't been into that version lately. Mine will definitely be installing an update for the live version. So once you've done this, just be sure that you've saved your design. I don't really care if we lose this. And I'm going to go ahead and click done. Now it should reload. Like I said, here it is giving us an update. So let's let it update and it'll open into Cricut Design Space Live. Now I am here in Cricut Design Space Live. I'll show you what the beta looks like just so you can see that happen as well. So I'll go ahead and switch back to beta. Now, right now, it's not going to look a whole lot different. There really isn't anything coming out right now that is going to give us a lot of difference. So I'm going to switch over to beta. Now, when you're in beta, you will see right next to where your machine selection is this little beta option. That's just going to let you know that you're in the beta software. So it's really helpful to have that information. Did you also know that you can do a force reload here on Cricut Design Space? So if you've installed a font or Cricut Design Space isn't working or something like that, you can reload it pretty easily rather than closing it out and reopening it. If you go up to the 3 dots next to help and then you click under view, you can do a force reload which is so helpful. Like I said, it's great for if you added a font because you do need to restart Cricut. So if you just force reload, it'll just go ahead and restart your Cricut. There's also other helpful things under here, like you've got file where you can open a new window, meaning that while one window's cutting, you can work on something else, which is super helpful. You can also quit Cricut Design Space here, which is, you can just close it. But the new window is super helpful. If I open that, I have a whole new window here that I'm going to be able to work with my Cricut Design Space to create something maybe while something else is cutting. Maybe I've got a lot of cutting going on, a lot of layers, but I'm able to work on something else really easily over here on a separate window. A lot of people miss this, and sometimes it can cause you issues where your machine won't work or you're getting errors on Design Space. You need to make sure that up here at the very top that you have the correct machine selected. Now you'll see here that it's going to list all the machines that you own, and you can easily select whichever one you want to work with based on what project you're doing. So if I'm doing something small, I might need my Joy. If I'm doing something else, I might need my Joy too. So I have to make sure that that correct machine is selected because not all machines can handle the same tools, the same sizes. So it's important to make sure the machine selection is correct. Another thing to note under machine selection is, let's say you went ahead and sold one of your machines and you just want to go ahead and get rid of it. You can go ahead and click these three dots and you can actually remove the machine from your account. Or if you want, you can go to settings and you can remove the machines here under the remove option. This is a newer thing that they added, and we're so glad that they did because, oh my gosh, if you've had a couple different machines, you know darn well that you don't need all of them still connected. Now, I'll be honest, I have every one of these machines still, so I do keep mine connected, but you're able to go ahead and remove machines that you've gotten rid of. Maybe you've sold them, given them away, or they've broken. If you have a feature that you love that I didn't put in this video, let me know below in the comments. I would love to hear what features you use that you think people miss a lot. Cricut Design Space has all sorts of features, and I know I didn't cover them all, but these are just the ones that I think that people miss the most, which is why I'm calling them hidden features. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Be sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun, crafty content we have coming. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.